Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Fausey Focus. And this week we'll be talking about all things Week 7. The agenda for today is the weekly recap for the games from Week 7. We'll talk about the top performers, the game of the week, and a new thing that we'll have going forward, the top performers MVP. So this will be a standalone kind of highlight, and we'll go into more details of the player. We'll also talk about the game of the week, which was the Christian Brothers versus Collierville game, which is a national top 10 matchup right here in Memphis this past week. All right, so moving on. So on Monday, Sheffield playing Central. Sheffield gets the 3-1 win. Goal scorers for Sheffield is 1 goal by Abdul Moapata, 1 goal, 1 assist by Hector Garcia, Dami Perez with an assist, and Musa Kanaute with 1 goal as well. Woodell defeated Hillcrest by the score of 5-0. Danis Moreno with a goal, Jaime Cruz with a goal, Felipe with a goal, Yandel Lopez with a goal, and Alan Lanza with a goal. Whitehaven defeated Southwind by the score of 3-1. Westminster defeated Fayette Academy 2-0. Craigmont defeated Oakhaven by the score of 6-0. Giovanni Moran had 2 goals, 1 assist. Anthony Morales had 1 goal. Christopher Maldonado had 2 goals. Juan Rivas with 1 goal. And Damian Rosas with an assist. Obion County defeated Fayetteware 7-1. Covington battled it out with Huntington, and that ended in a 1-1 draw. White Station and Overton tied. This is a district game for them. They tied 3-3. Overton goal scorers were 1 goal by Yoendry Chaparro, 1 goal by Miguel Alonso, and Rodrigo Ventura added 1 goal and 1 assist. NBA defeated Rise 5-2. Kirby with the big district win over Ridgeway by the score of 7-0. SBA defeated Harding 5-2. Goal scorers for SBA, you have Tristan Yarbrough with 2 goals, Luke Swearingen with 1 goal, 1 assist, Hayden Redding with a goal, Jack Hayden with 2 assists, Austin Davis with an assist, and Vitor Guimaraes with 1 goal. Dyersburg took on Trinity Christian out of Jackson, and Dyersburg gets the 3-1 win. Brighton defeated Millington in a district game. Jacob York with a goal and Jaden Edwards also with a goal, and Alclin Davis added an assist. Arlington took on the Cougars of Munford, and Arlington gets the 4-2 win. We'll start with the Arlington goal scorers. Jacob Simpson with 1 goal, and Keaton SQ had the hat trick. From Munford, you had Brandon Scott with 1 goal and Marcos Rodriguez with 1 goal and 1 assist. South Gibson defeated Dyer County 7-1. Goal scorers for South Gibson, you have Ace Di Chiara with 3 goals, 1 assist. Jonah Klaus with 1 goal. Gregory Suter with 1 goal, 1 assist. Richard Adu with 2 goals, 1 assist. Clay Pruitt with 1 assist. Jonathan Lewis with an assist. Eli Webb with an assist, and Austin Crone with an assist. Lakeland defeated Kingsbury by the score of 3-1. Eli Coleman with 2 goals, Adam Atkinson with a goal and 2 assists, Yunderly Villatoro with 1 assist, and Alan Paredes with 1 assist. Jackson Central Mary took on McNary Central, and that ended in a 2-2 draw. East took on Germantown, and they defeated Germantown. Goal scorers for East, you have Randy Butler with a hat trick, Fritz Casusto with 2 goals, 2 assists, Isaac Mendrano with 1 goal, 1 assist, Jaden Longoria with 1 assist, Ryan Williams with 1 goal, 2 assists, and Evan Yo with 1 assist. Houston gets the 6-0 win over Cordova, and this was a district match. Los Ann defeated North Point by the score of 6-0. St. George's defeated ECS 2-0. Chester County defeated Harding County 5-0. Goal scorers for Chester County, you have Angel Ortega with 2 goals, Lincoln Phillips with 1 goal, 2 assists, Isaiah Stafford with 1 goal, Cooper Thompson with 1 goal, and Braden Walker with an assist. Moving on to Wednesday, you have Oakhaven playing Sheffield. Sheffield gets the big Mercy Rule win of 10-1. Hector Garcia with 7 goals. Yes, 7 goals and 2 assists. Victor Ramos with 2 goals, and then Dami Perez added 1 goal and 3 assists. Kingsbury defeated District rival South win by the score of 2-0. All right, moving on to for Thursday, you have Ridgeway and PCA tying 1-1. Central and Whitehaven battled it out in an 11-goal thriller where Central gets the 6-5 win over Whitehaven. Germantown and Douglas tied 1-1. Craigmont defeated Memphis School of Excellence Cordova 10-1. Giovanni Marin with 4 goals, 1 assist. Anthony Morales with 2 goals. Ronaldo Cortez with a goal. Mario Atencio with 1 goal. David Gallego Borrioro with 2 goals. Muhammad Ali with 1 assist. And Christopher Maldonado had 6 assists. Westminster defeated new regional rivals SBA by the score of 2-1. Goal scorers for SBA, 1 goal was scored by Ethan Hughes and Jack Hayden with 1 assist. Sheffield defeated Memphis School of Excellence Winchester 1-0. Hector Garcia picked up the goal, and the lone assist was by Dami Perez. Woodhill defeated Middle College 6-1. Anis Moreno with 4 goals. Saul Rojas with 1 goal, and then Dino Makalewa with 1 goal. McNary gets the 7-1 win over Lexington. Brighton lost 5-1 to USJ. Goal scorers for Brighton, 1 goal by Jaden Edwards and 1 assist by Jacob York. Crosstown defeated White Station 3. Overton and Lakeland Prep played, and Lakeland Prep gets the 5-0 win. For Lakeland, you have Adam Atkinson with 3 goals, Connor O'Driscoll with a goal, Yonderly Villatoro with one goal, Gianluca Daniele with 1 assist, Luke Baldridge with an assist, Alvin Wynn with an assist, and Eli Coleman with an assist. Houston and Bartlett battled it out in a close back and forth match, and this match ended in a 2-2 draw. Moving on, Arlington defeated Lausanne. The lone goal scorer was by Keaton Eskew. Tyson Miller held the clean sheet. In Arlington this year, they are 2-0 over Lausanne. They did play them in a preseason scrimmage. The next game is the Christian Brothers Collierville game. This was our game of the week, and so we'll talk about that game later on in this episode. ECS just played North Point, and they battled it out to a 2-2 draw. Adamsville defeated Scotts Hill 1-0. Chester County defeated Jackson Southside 9-0, so they picked up the Mercy Rule win. For Chester County, Lincoln Phillips with 2 goals, Angel Ortega with 2 goals, Braden Walker with 1 goal and 2 assists, Jonas Smith with 2 goals, Kyle Markham with 1 goal, Logan Casey with an assist, Cooper Thompson with an assist, and Braden Harrison with a goal and 2 assists. Bluff City defeated Oakhaven 2-1. East and University High tied 1-1. And the lone goal for East was by Jaden Longoria. Briarcrest defeated regional rivals MUS 4-0. And Covington picks up the big 5-2 win over Millington. Goal scorers for Covington is 2 goals by Ty Waddell, 2 goals by Jack Seegers, Braylon Muse with 1 goal, Trey Narcisse with 2 assists, and Colin Winfrey with an assist. And finishing out for the week, Huntington and Haywood tied 0-0. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our top performers for week 7. You have Giovanni Marin with 6 goals and 2 assists, and he represents Craigmont. From Wooddale, you have Danis Moreno, and he had 5 goals. Adam Atkinson, he represents Lakeland Prep, and he had 4 goals and 2 assists. Our honorable mentions, you have Ace D. Chiara, and he's from South Gibson. And then you have Christopher Maldonado from Craigmont. A new thing that we're going to do is the MVP for the week. And this player currently has 20 goals, and his name is Hector Garcia. From this past week, he had 9 goals and 2 assists. He had 7 goals and 2 assists in Sheffield's win against Oakhaven. And so Hector is our first ever top performers MVP, and we will continue to do this moving forward for the rest of the season. Okay, next up, we will transition to our game of the week, and this was the Christian Brothers and Collierville match. This match was played at Tom Nick Stadium, which is the home of the Christian Brothers Purple Wave. In this match, you had Christian Brothers coming in as the fourth ranked team in the country, and Collierville was the sixth ranked team in the country, according to Max Preps. And so in this game, Collierville was trying to play an organized defensive game, and then when they could, they would try to counter. But the final score of the game was 4-0 in favor of the Brothers. And at halftime, it was 2-0. You had 2 goals in the first half by James Rump, and both of those goals were assisted by Hayden Mulrooney. And then in the second half, you have Cohen Talley and Will Rose also scoring. The assist for the Will Rose goal was Landon Heathcott. Heath, many of these players from both teams will be playing at the collegiate level. And so this is the type of competition that myself and Coach Harris, we've been talking about on the podcast about how you should be scheduling games and trying to push your players to the fullest to see how they can adapt, how they can, be put under so much different types of pressure and trying to break down like a really, really solid team. I know it's not favorable for Collierville to lose, but when really their only loss this year, top 5 nationally ranked team, that's actually a good loss. So I know Coach G, he'll try to perfect, the issues that they faced during this game that were exploited. They'll come back ready to rock and roll, especially when the district games are starting to pick up for the AAA schools. Coach Glazer has done a great job at Christian Brothers ever since he's gotten there, and he's taken the Brothers to the next level. And he does have college coaching experience. He was a University of Memphis assistant coach, and then he was the head coach at Delta State for a couple years. Well, folks, with that being said, that concludes our episode for the Fausey Focus for week 7. Catch us next week as we will talk about all things Memphis soccer and a focus on the boys' high school soccer season. And we will be doing this also for the girls' season. We just started this spring for the boys, but check us out on our social media pages, and then also you can find our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace out.